What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Joey Chou with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan is nearing the final stages of a deal to buy vaccines for children aged 5 to 11 years old. Health Minister Chen Shizhong says they are currently in talks with Pfizer-BioNTech. His comments came Wednesday as Taiwan relaxed rules that required schools to cancel classes if they reported 2 COVID-19 cases within that school. The looser restrictions have raised concerns that Taiwan's unvaccinated children may be at risk of serious illness. The country has also begun easing border restrictions as hope grow that the end of the COVID-19 pandemic would be in sight. But for now, the number of new daily cases is continuing to rise, with 933 new cases reported on Wednesday. John Van Trieste has this report.
For the first time since March 2020, Taiwan is reopening its borders to most foreign nationals with family ties here. But before coming, visitors will need to apply for a visa. This is a significant step towards bringing Taiwan back to a pre-COVID way of life. The only people excluded are relatives of migrant workers. But in Taiwan's legislature, there have been signs that border restrictions could ease further by this summer. Health Minister Chen Shizhong told lawmakers Tuesday that travel restrictions could soon be eased between Taiwan and countries with similar levels of infection.
对于风险相同的，我们可以开。那我认为到暑假的时候，其实世界的疫情
But for now, the pandemic in Taiwan is only getting more intense. In a radio interview, Chen also said that Taiwan will almost certainly see the number of new daily cases hit 1,000 by the end of the month. The government's priorities are securing enough rapid test kits and ensuring that those kits are affordable. Officials say they aim to bring the price of a kit down to around $7 US.
在加紧进行啦，在月底之前把这个价格再往下压。
Meanwhile, Taiwanese researchers hope to make a COVID medication they've developed readily available to the public. The medication is a compound of 5 herbs used in traditional Chinese medicine. Its developers at National Yangming Jiaotong University's Institute of Traditional Medicine say that trials on frontline medical workers and mice have both shown success in preventing COVID and treating its symptoms. Though not a substitute for vaccination, the medicine will provide Taiwan with another tool to keep COVID under control. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday stood by comments he made that Russia's President Vladimir Putin is committing genocide against the Ukrainian people. His comments come as teams continue to investigate potential war crimes against civilians across the country. Putin, meanwhile, is set to launch a renewed offensive in the country's Donbass region. Rick Lauer reports.
A fresh offensive. Russian-backed troops prepared to push towards Azovstal, the last district still held by Ukrainian forces in the besieged city of Mariupol. Pro-Russian forces like these have been fighting for independence in Ukraine's Donbass region for 8 years. Russia's military, as predicted by Ukraine's president, is now focusing on the eastern Donbass region.
Цели абсолютно понятные, они благородные. Я с самого начала ведь сказал, обращаю ваше внимание, в первом моем, самом первом публичном заявлении, обращении к стране, вооруженным силам, я прямо назвал цели. Цель главная – помощь людям на Донбассе.
While the Russian leader may frame his campaign in Ukraine, which has so far taken the lives of thousands, as noble, US President Joe Biden has described Putin's war in Ukraine as a genocide.
Yes, I call it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of unity between Ukraine. And the evidence is mounting.
Investigations into war crimes are ongoing, with a team of international forensic experts exhuming mass graves in Bucha, where withdrawing Russian troops are accused of using chemical weapons against civilians. But Putin says the images of dead bodies on the streets of Bucha are fake, and that far from withdrawing, his military operation is going as planned, prompting a rebuke from Ukraine's president.
Сегодня в России в очередной раз прозвучало, что их так называемая спецоперация якобы идет по плану. Но если честно, никто в мире не понимает, как вообще мог появиться такой план.
Questions still hang over Putin's next move. But what is becoming clear is that what the Russian leader says, and perhaps himself believes, is far removed from the reality of this war. Alex Chen and Rick Glowert for TaiwanPlus.
Swedish MEP Charlie Weimers has told TaiwanPlus that if China becomes a part of the destruction of Europe, then Europe will be a part of the defense of Asia. Weimers is in Taiwan as part of the first official Swedish delegation to visit. Coming during Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the visit is a show of solidarity for Taiwan, which is also under threat from an authoritarian neighbor, namely China. TaiwanPlus reporter Inka Vet spoke to Weimers and asked how he thinks the war in Ukraine has changed Europe's attitude towards Taiwan.
This is a time for soul searching in Europe. Just take a look at Germany, that now is finally taking its responsibility in defense matters, and Sweden too. We will hit the 2% target in defense spending for the first time since the Cold War, due to the Russian aggression against Ukraine. And that is very good news for Taiwan, I might add, because in order for the United States to keep its focus on the Indo-Pacific, Europe needs to be in charge of the defense of our own soil. We cannot continue to rely on United States military forces alone to defend our territory. And that will liberate resources of the United States to be active in the Indo-Pacific theater. So this is a very good development that we see right now for Europe and for Taiwan.
That's very interesting. So the knock-on effect. You also said quite dramatically that for every euro China spends supporting Russia, that the EU should double that and spend it on Taiwan's self-defense.
Yes.
How realistic is it that the EU could do that?
We have a European peace facility of almost 6 billion euros. It's a lot of money, and we must make it very clear to Beijing that if they want to be part of the destruction of Europe, well, then we will be part of the defense democracy in Asia.
Is Taiwan Ukraine in 10 years?
I don't think so, because the war in Ukraine has given Beijing pause. They realize that if the Russians have a hard time attacking Ukraine on flat lands, to launch a maritime operation against Taiwan will be 10 times tougher, especially now that Taiwan is learning lessons from the brave Ukrainian defenders.
There's a lot of talk right now about being on the right side of history. What do you think the history books will say about all this in 50 years' time, all this period?
Well, I think the similarity between Ukraine and Taiwan is that there has been a building up of national identities in both places, and which effectively has made imperial ambitions very tough to realize for Russia and for the People's Republic of China. That this was the sort of rebirth of the nation state. I think that is what the history books will tell us.
After 5 years in a Chinese prison, Taiwanese democracy activist Ming-che will finally walk free. China's Taiwan Affairs Office announced the news on Wednesday, but did not give an official date for Li's release. Li was arrested by Chinese police during a visit to Guangdong province in 2017 and sentenced to prison for subversion of state power. Since then, Li's wife, Li Jingyu, has campaigned tirelessly for his freedom. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with pictures of a kindergarten in Lithuania, which has decorated trees with thousands of handmade Easter eggs. I've been Joey Chou. Have a great night, and I'll catch you on the flip side.